Not yet. All right, parallel lines. Can you draw a set of parallel lines?
No. Good enough.
The best you can. Okay. This is page 73. I want you to understand that when we have parallel lines, they will either say, hey, these are parallel.
Can I show how?
There. Or there will be arrows. Okay? Just kind of like our little tick marks with congruent. If there's multiple sets of parallel lines, then maybe the second set has 2 arrows on each line, signifying, hey, these are congruent. Okay? Or not congruent, parallel. I don't know why that word came out of my mouth. All right. Now, let's just recall supplementary means what? Okay. 2 angles that add to 180. That word is going to be thrown out quite a bit today. Okay. And then, you just took your midterm, so all of this should be fresh. Right? Vertical angles are these right here. They're congruent, and they are made with 2 sets of opposite rays. Okay, so basically what we're going to do, we're going to take our vocabulary from yesterday, and we are going to talk about what's special about each of those angle relationships when we have, bless you, parallel lines. Okay? So, first and foremost, if we have corresponding angles, then and if we have parallel lines cut by a transversal, then corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, so angles 2 and 6 are congruent because they're corresponding angles with parallel lines. Okay, what would be another pair? Okay, 3 and 7 are corresponding with parallel lines. They're congruent. What else? 4 and 8. 1 and 5. Okay. Next, we have alternate interior angles. If we have a set of parallel lines cut by a transversal, then the pairs of alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay, so angles 4 and 5, these are alternate interior angles. Our 2 lines cut by a transversal are parallel, so 4 and 5 are congruent. What would be the other pair of alternate interior angles? 3 and 6 would be congruent. Interesting, didn't we already say 2 and 6 are congruent? And now we're saying 3 and 6 are congruent?
Yeah. Because 2 and 3 are vertical angles.
Ah, yes, there's lots of relationships we can be pointing out here. 2 and 3 are vertical angles. Okay? Next, we have the alternate exterior angles theorem. If we have 2 parallel lines cut by a transversal, then our alternate exterior angles are congruent. Okay, so we have two pairs here. We have a set of parallel lines cut by a transversal. So angles 1 and 8 are alternate exterior angles. Since we have parallel lines, they are congruent. What's the other pair? 2 and 7. Huh. It's interesting. Go to the next page. Now, our consecutive interior angles theorem. This theorem is on the next page because it's kind of the odd man out. If we have parallel lines cut by a transversal, then our pairs of consecutive interior angles are supplementary. So angle 3 and angle 5, those are consecutive interior angles. They are not congruent, but they are supplementary. Do you believe it?
Yeah.
Okay. What do we know if we have parallel lines? We're just going to talk through this. What do we know about 3 and 5 and 4? Those are congruent because they're alternate interior, correct?
Yeah.
What's going to be true about 3 and 4?
Supplementary.
They're supplementary because they make a linear pair. So does it make sense if 3 and 4 are supplementary, 4 and 5 are congruent? Does it then make sense that 3 and 5 are supplementary?
Yeah.
Are we okay with that? Okay. So, we're going to draw a picture. Are you ready? You know what? Not yet. Leave this open. Leave this open. Because we're going to come back to this space right here and do a problem with algebra. But for right now, I want you to turn to this page in your folder. Thank you. And I'm guessing it's page 2. You would guess it's page 2?
Page 2.
Page 2. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to label angle 1 is 65 degrees. Okay. If angle 1 is 65 degrees, okay, there is a lot of ways we can fill out this chart, but I'm going to try my best to use as much as the vocabulary from our lesson as possible. So I want you to tell me, what is the relationship between angle 1 and angle 5? Those are corresponding angles. We have parallel lines. So if 1 and 5 are corresponding, then I know the measure of angle 5 is also 65 because we have corresponding angles with angle 1. Okay, again, I am going to try to use as much as the vocabulary as I can. I know that you can probably whiz through all of these measurements, but can you please stick with me? Okay. What do we know about angle 1 and angle 7? What kind of angles are those? Those are alternate exterior. So we know that angle 7 is 65 degrees because it's an alternate exterior angle with angle 1. ALT-EXT, alternate exterior. Is that okay?
I'm saying, like, can we put like AEX, alternate exteriors, or do you want me to put alt X?
If you're gonna abbreviate, I would prefer like the alternate X, like the alt X. That way I can. It's easier for my brain to process what your brain is thinking. Okay. All right. Let's talk about angle 3. What's the relationship between angle 1 and angle 3? They're vertical angles, and we know that vertical angles are congruent. So I can say angle 3 is 65 degrees because it's a vertical angle with angle 1. Okay, now if angle 3 is 65, can we use that to help us with angle 6? What's true about angle 4 and angle 6? What are they? They are supplementary because they are consecutive interior angles. So we know that angle 6 is 115 degrees because it's a consecutive interior angle with angle, what did I say? 3, right? Okay. Obviously, there's going to be a number of different ways you can logic your way through getting all of these. I am trying to use as much as the vocabulary as possible, okay? So then, if we know angle 6 is 115 degrees, what's the relationship between 4 and 6? Okay, angles 4 and 6 are alternate interior angles, and we know that alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay. Now, I know you know what 2 and 8 are, all right? I'm going to go to angle 2. We can do a lot of different things. We know it's 115 degrees. What do you want our reason to be? Okay, it's vertical with 4. I like that. Okay. And then if I know angle 2, I know angle 8 is the same because they are alternate exterior angles. Okay. Now, it's really nice when I give you one measure and I just say, hey, find the rest. Okay? But this is kind of a good warm-up before we get into like the algebra side of it. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to, don't worry about filling this side out. How about you just fill out what are the measurements for that example number 2? You just make sure you can reason with me why you got that. All right. Augie, what is angle 1?
142 degrees.
Daniel, angle 2.
38 degrees.
Evie, angle 3.
142.
Sydney, angle 4.
38.
Jack, angle 5.
38 degrees.
Ty, angle 7. And Logan, angle 8.
132.
Do you agree with your classmates? You don't agree? He's joking. Okay. So we had angle 6. So angles 6 and 3 are congruent because they're alternate interior angles. 6 and 7 are supplementary because they are consecutive interior angles. 6 and 8 are congruent because they are corresponding angles. 6 and 1 are congruent because they are vertical angles. We could go all day with this, couldn't we? Okay. All right, what I want you to do is go back to your student journal, and we're going to maybe squeeze 2 pictures, maybe 1. We'll see how I'm feeling. Okay. To the best of your artistic ability, could you draw a set of parallel lines cut by a transversal where this measure is 3x plus 4 and this measure is 15x minus 32? This one?
Yeah.
This is a minus. Doesn't not look like a minus? Is that better? Does that look more minusy for you? Okay. So as you're drawing this and writing down the algebraic expressions for our measures, I want you to be thinking, what angle relationship am I dealing with here? Austin Watts? What would you tell me?
Alternate exterior.
Alternate exterior angles. And Aaron, what do we know about alternate exterior angles and their measure? They are congruent. So what do you suppose we should do? You guys couldn't even wait for me to ask my question. 3x plus 4 needs to equal 15x minus 32. X equals what?
3.
Okay, so, wow, you guys did that really fast. So if I minus 15x over, we would have negative 9x plus 4.
That's negative 11.
That's negative 12. What am I doing?
I did it.
I'm out of practice here, guys.
X equals 3, guys.
Okay, now this is what I appreciate. I heard someone say x equals 3, which means our angles are 13. So x is 3, but if I ask you for the angle measurement, if we plug 3 back in, we would get each of these angles are 13 degrees. Okay? Okay, one more parallel line example here. Uh-oh. This is example number 2. While you're drawing it, I want you to think about, what is the angle relationship with the angles marked as 2x plus 5 and 75? Austin?
Wait, what? I got the answer. 50.
I just finished writing down the thing.
Okay, so Conway,
Oh shoot.
what is the angle relationship? What is the vocabulary word for those 2 angles?
Consecutive interior.
Okay, we have consecutive interior angles, and we know consecutive interior angles are, so can we say that better? Supplementary. So 2x plus 5 plus 75 equals 180, which means you're telling me that 2x is 100, so x is 50. Okay. That was probably too nice of a problem, but I wanted you to get the idea.
Yay.
Okay. So this is your job for me. Can you please open to page 75? So I guess 74 and 75, I have it written wrong. So I need you to do 1 through 8 in your student journal on page 74, 75. So the first couple are just numeric, and then the last handful, you have to do some algebra. Yeah.